This is basically, I was talking to a friend of mine, Stare Ogre, about Atari games, and he's on the lookout for one of the hardest to find Atari games out there, Hero. H.E.R.O. I don't know what that stands for, but basically, it's one of Activision's later games for the system, and certainly one of its best. It was one of the few games that I believe maybe I'm mixing it up with Secret Quest, but I believe it had a password system, or at least a way where you could move on from level to level uh, after you turn the machine off. You didn't always have to start at the beginning, which was a big deal for an Atari game. The gameplay is spot on. It's an interesting game. It's challenging. Very fun. You're basically kind of this guy with a jetpack, a helicopter pack, who's diving deep into a cave, saving miners who have been trapped down there. Anyway, Hero was hard to find. It's a very difficult game to find. It's expensive. I'm not sure how expensive, but I never see it. I've been on the hunt for Atari games for a few years now, and been building up my collection maybe about 5 years, 6 years. And I've only come across Hero once in a store. It was in a box of games, and they priced it certainly more appropriately than most Atari games. You'll usually find them for $1 or $2. I actually had to pay 15 on this one, as you can plainly see here, 14.99. But as I said, this is a very hard game to find. It's in demand, and it's a great game for the system. So I was willing to make that buy $15 for an Atari game, which is, for most people, that's mind blowing. What I didn't know at the time was I was buying something a little different, a little even more unusual than the title itself. I had the game a month and had it in my collection, and then months down the line, I guess I had seen a, a copy of it. Maybe I saw it in like Metal Jesus Rocks video or something like that. But he always opens with a shot of him putting a Hero cart into an Atari system. It's like the open for this guy, this YouTuber's um, show. And I said, wait a minute, why is the spine blue? Why is the spine label blue for his copy? And that's when I started looking online at every other Hero copy I'd seen out there. And lo and behold, the spine for every copy I could come across was also blue. Mine, on the other hand, not so much. Let's take a look. Now, if you look at this at a glance and you don't know anything about Hero, this looks like it's on right, wouldn't you say? I mean, you've got the Hero right there, and then Hero plainly labeled on the bottom. But I guess if you take a closer look, you'll notice, well, you really can't see the top Hero there very well, can you? It's kind of bleeding into the spine. Well, again, that's not really going to raise any eyebrows for someone who's never actually seen the game in person. But if you know the game, if you have the game, you'll know that this label is on upside down. This blue part is supposed to be up here. So we can only conclude that this is a Hero cart where the label has been put on upside down. Now, a friend of mine here is in the chat. He's saying it's weird looking because he knows what the cart looks like. He said, "Well, maybe it's been maybe some Yahoo put it re-glued it. It's possible, but my argument to that would be, first of all, if you're going to relabel it, why would you put it on upside down? Although now that I'm looking at it, it actually kind of looks better in a way. But the real thing here is because if I held it, if the label was on correctly, I'd be holding the card upside down like this, and we'd see just the Hero and none of that blue. All that blue would be on the spine. But I guess the only other thing I can think of that would make me think that's not true is if that were the case, wouldn't you see some sort of creasing here between where the spine and the label originally was? I don't really see anything of that nature. It seems like it's seamless to me. Like that's always been that way. Now you can see some bubbling here from this being a 30-year-old cart, but that seam seems to be perfect. So has anyone else seen one of these? Because I've kind of looked. I'm not an expert as to where to look, but I know enough about Atari to know that AtariAge.com is usually the place to go to for this kind of weird, out of whack stuff. This is where all the Atari collectors go. So my plan is to just cut this video down and maybe post it on Atari Age. See if anybody's seen anything. If anyone has, please let me know. Is this more common than I think it is? I'm not really sure. If it's not, I thought I'd just share. I thought maybe those of you out there who collect Atari would get a kick out of this. I know label variants are a big deal to collect for. This is almost more like a label accident. So, there it is. Please feel free to contact me if you have any information. I'm Cap'n Raz. You can find me in the Gaming Galleon on YouTube or on Twitch. Thank you.